Once upon a time, in a small town nestled deep in the woods, there lived a young girl named Emily. She was a curious child, with a wild imagination and a love for the unknown. She spent her days exploring the dense forests that surrounded her home, always on the lookout for something new and exciting. One day, while wandering deep in the woods, Emily stumbled upon a strange, old cabin. It was abandoned and overgrown with vines, but something about it called to her. Without hesitation, she pushed open the door and stepped inside. The cabin was musty and dark, but as her eyes adjusted to the dim light, Emily could see that it was filled with strange and unsettling objects. There were jars filled with mysterious liquids and strange herbs hanging from the rafters, and a large book lay open on a table in the center of the room. Without hesitation, Emily picked up the book and began to read. It was filled with dark and twisted tales of witches, warlocks, and other evil beings. She was entranced, and she couldn't put the book down. But as she read deeper into the book, she began to notice that the stories were not just tales. They were true accounts of the horrors that had occurred in this very cabin. Emily's heart began to race as she realized that she was not alone in the cabin. She could feel something watching her, something evil and malevolent. She tried to leave, but the door was stuck and wouldn't budge. She was trapped and she knew that she had to find a way out before it was too late. She searched desperately for a way to escape, but it was no use. The windows were boarded up and there was no other way out. As she sat in the corner of the cabin, trembling with fear, she heard a faint noise coming from upstairs. It was a low, rasping breath and she knew that whatever was in the cabin with her was coming closer. With no other options, Emily turned back to the book for answers. She flipped through the pages frantically, trying to find something, anything, that would help her escape. And then, she saw it. A spell to summon the spirit of the dead and make them do your bidding. Desperate and with no other choice, Emily began to recite the spell. As she spoke the ancient words, the room grew colder and the candles flickered and went out. And then, she saw it. A ghostly figure appeared before her, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Emily was terrified, but she knew that she had to keep going. She finished the spell and commanded the spirit to help her escape. And with a sudden burst of energy, the spirit lunged forward, breaking the door open and leading Emily to safety. As she stumbled out of the cabin, Emily realized that the spirit had saved her life. But she also knew that she could never forget the horrors that she had witnessed in that cabin. The memory of it would haunt her for the rest of her days. She never spoke of her experience in the cabin again, but the people of the town knew something had changed in her. She had grown distant and withdrawn, and she spent most of her days alone, lost in her thoughts. But even though she kept silent, the memory of that cabin and the evil that lurked within it lived on. And to this day, it is said that on quiet nights, you can still hear the ghostly footsteps and the rasping breath of the spirit that Emily summoned.